Rather than lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. Now, Alexander Zinchenko has agreed to join Arsenal Football Club. A deal between Manchester City and Arsenal is very, very advanced. A price around £35 million is yet to be agreed, but it's what we are thinking. According to ESPN's James Ole, that is what Arsenal are going to pay for the player, and Arsenal and Manchester City are very happy to do business. He will be leaving Manchester City instead of Nathan Ake, who will be signing a new contract with Pep Guardiola's side, alongside players like Riyad Mahrez and Rodri. We'll also talk about Arsenal bidding for another very, very highly rated young centre-back, Edmond Tapsoba, 23 years of age, playing at Bayer Leverkusen, valued at around 50 million euros. This evening, Arsenal are reportedly interested in the player by Bild in Germany and will make a move for the player. However, there is some kind of frenzy and havoc around this one, as many Arsenal fans believe William Saliba or Gabriel Magalhaes will be leaving the club if Edmond Tapsoba joins Arsenal Football Club. We wanted him last summer. We tried to sign him. Leverkusen asked for around 75 million euros, and now we are back for the same centre-back. We'll talk about that and more around the Arsenal transfer market and what is happening elsewhere in the transfer market. Hit the like button and subscribe to the podcast on 90 more. You should check out that channel. Beautiful channel and beautiful content provided, of course, by me. I will be doing for you the latest around every club, every transfer around every club in the Premier League and also in Europe. So make sure you join me there. Hit the like button for me here. Let's get this video to 800 likes. Subscribe to the podcast. Like I said, this is a home for Arsenal Football Club and news. We only do Arsenal here, and if you are interested in a done deal every day, we are not doing that. This is not the channel for you. You could find another channel. This is not the one. This is an Arsenal channel to keep Arsenal fans updated with whatever small and big amount of information available around the club. Now, let's start off with Alexander Zinchenko. ESPN James Ole has come out and confirmed that Alexander Zinchenko to Arsenal is inches away, very, very close. It is not going to happen in days. It is actually going to happen in the next few hours. Manchester City and Arsenal are in the same valuation range for the player, which has made the deal very, very easy. Manchester City are asking for any fee above 30 million pounds. Arsenal are willing to pay around 33 to 35 million pounds. A couple of Arsenal fans are not really happy with this one. They wanted us to pay around 20 to 25 million pounds for Alexander Zinchenko, the babyface man. But of course, look, some people look at Alexander Zinchenko and they underrate him. And I think one of my top 10 videos I'm going to produce on 90 more, one of those videos is going to be the most underrated players in the Premier League. Definitely, you must think of Alexander Zinchenko as one of the most underrated players in the Premier League. But for me, lads, like I said in the morning, I'll say it again, 35 million pounds for Alexander Zinchenko is real quality. A player that is going to be covering for us in the central midfield and also at left back. A player who can even move ahead of Kieran Tierney. A player who has better numbers than any of our left backs. I do not think 35 million is actually too much. A player that we understand has won 4 Premier League titles with Manchester City, 4 EFL Cups with Manchester City, and FA Cup as well. He is a winner. He brings that kind of experience, and we understand very well that he's a very, very good leader, a player that is captaining the Ukraine. I do not think Arsenal are going to get someone. Yes, we could get better, but I think when you think about Alexander Zinchenko and the price that we're going to be paying, I think that is real value for money. Now, apparently Arsenal, of course, have been talking to the representatives and the player as well. And it is even believed that a deal between Manchester City and Arsenal is easier than a deal between us and Alexander Zinchenko, trying to convince him. But it will not be hard to convince the player because he's played with he's worked with Mikel Arteta before and is happy to reunite with Mikel Arteta. Arteta is also very, very keen on reuniting with the Ukrainian captain. So we are now looking at the next few hours to see what kind of fee is going to be agreed. The Daily Mail and ESPN are speculating a deal between 30 to 35 million pounds is what is going to be paid. I think Manchester City have really done very good business here. 35 million pounds for Alexander Zinchenko, 45 for Gabriel Jesus, and around 50 for Raheem Sterling. Very, very great, kind of business for me. I just admire them. But also Arsenal have really done very good business. Alexander Zinchenko, like I said, has a lot of attributes he adds to Arsenal. And he's one of the players that you would argue, if he joins this Arsenal side, then he's going to provide us with something very different in terms of the age, and also in terms of the hunger, and also in terms of that kind of player that wants to prove a point. I think that is his age, entering his prime, 25, 26, 27. That is going to be his prime, and he wants to prove a point. Very versatile as well. I think it's good business on both ends. I don't think City are literally going to be affected because it's definitely going to create a ripple effect. They will get that money and then pay for Marco Cucurella. At Brighton, as we understand, as things stand, he's the player that will be joining them very, very imminently. So, deal very close. In the next hours, do not be very surprised if I come back here and I tell you a deal has been agreed. But at least now, deal agreed between Arsenal and Alexander Zinchenko. He will be joining us. A dozen clubs, according to his agent, have been interested in the player, including 6 in the Premier League and 6 outside the Premier League. So you understand the quality we are talking about. Yes, he has the baby face, but many clubs and many managers understand what kind of quality he possesses as a player. And personally, I understand the kind of quality he possesses as a player. We've not watched him play in the central midfield role many of the times with Manchester City. Of course, you understand why. Look, you really cannot blame him. But he's one of the players that I've seen thrown onto that Manchester City pitch and create a difference. One of those players that I understand you can throw him in there as a left winger, as a right winger, probably inverted in any of those advanced positions, in any of those central midfield positions, and he's going to give you some good work. So Alexander Zinchenko, very, very soon we'll be getting the here we go, and we'll be saying welcome to Arsenal, Alexander Zinchenko. More on that information, more on that deal coming to you very, very soon, as long as anything comes out and it develops. Now let's get to the Edmond Tapsoba deal. So Arsenal were apparently interested in Edmond Tapsoba. That was in the summer of 2021. I did report around that when the Arsenal had been requested to pay in excess of 70 million euros to get Edmond Tapsoba, and they felt it was too much a price for the player. They decided against the decision to sign him, and they went and signed Gabriel. Seriously, we signed Ben White from Brighton at 50 million pounds. Now it looks like Arsenal are back for the player. But Leverkusen have a little bit reduced on their price, and now they will be looking at around 50 million euros. Now, we understand that Leverkusen did not want to sell the player last summer, as per Fabrizio Romano, and even in this summer, we are not yet sure if they're 100% willing to sell the player. But the problem here, lads, is that there are 2 theories at work. One theory is that Mikel Arteta wants 2 Class A players per position, and that's why Edmond Tapsoba is badly wanted, at Arsenal, and is one of the players that would be probably one of the names that are going to be, coming in as alternatives to Pablo Mari if he leaves the club. Now, of course, you're gonna say 50 million euros as a backup. Of course, we wanted to do it with Lisandro Martinez before him choosing Man United over us. If he didn't, then we would have signed Lisandro Martinez. So what I don't understand here is many Arsenal fans going into frenzy mode because a 50 million euros centre back is joining the club as a backup to Gabriel Magalhaes. And we understand that when we wanted Lisandro Martinez, we were going to pay almost the same amount of money. And Arsenal fans, many Arsenal fans, including me, including you, including a couple of them, were absolutely okay. And I think the difference here, lads, is Edmond Tapsoba plays for Bayer Leverkusen, and many of us have not watched him for that, for enough minutes to to give a judgment. So we would rather reject him rather than have an open mind to signing him. And of course, we've seen Lisandro Martinez play for Ajax because Ajax have played in the Champions League and we followed them. So we have a little glimpse of Lisandro Martinez, and we have absolutely nothing on Edmond Tapsoba. But so the first working theory is that Edmond Tapsoba comes in as a backup player to Gabriel Magalhaes, but also Pablo Mari and Rob Holding will be allowed to leave if Edmond Tapsoba comes in, because there is no reason as to why Arsenal would have 6 centre backs. So for me, Rob Holding, who I think is certainly a very, very good squad player, who I think is a player that is going to be very happy to stay around for another season, probably another 2 seasons before Arsenal decide to move him on. For me, he needs to go because, listen, there is going to come a time when you need your backup player to step up. It happened last campaign, and I don't think it really stood up very well. William Saliba staying at Arsenal, it means we have given him some assurances, and one of the assurances is he's going to be directly in front or behind Ben White. So I do not see how Rob Holding stands in the way of William Saliba or Edmond Tapsoba. So I think, for me, Arsenal will be offloading 2 centre-backs sooner or later, and then signing in 1 centre-back and calling back William Saliba from international duty. So that the first working theory is that Edmond Tapsoba comes in as a replacement of these 2, Rob Holding and Pablo Mari, who will be leaving the club, like I said, eventually, sooner or later. Now, the other working theory that has put many Arsenal fans into frenzy mode is this. Juve are interested in Gabriel Magalhaes, and they're pushing for the signature of the young Brazilian player. William Saliba has been rumored to not fully commit to a new contract at Arsenal, which is 100% not true. If you look at what William Saliba has put out in terms of his future and what he thinks, he has said it's very good to be backed by the Arsenal fans. You understand to understand that the fans are 100% behind you, that they love you so much is very good, and I don't have time to wait, or I cannot wait to pay them back. I think William Saliba is here to stay. I'll say that again. Sorry about that. William Saliba is here to stay. So it's not going anywhere. And Arsenal have already made their decision and stance on Gabriel Magalhaes. Yes, it is understood that Juve will try to test our resolve, but it is a strong one. The player is not up for sale. And why I think, and I'm very, very confident that Juve will not sign Gabriel Magalhaes, is the price that they will be willing to offer. Yes, we have seen them try to offer some very decent prices for a couple of players, but when you look at the structure of those deals, you would be absolutely disgusted. You do not want to look at the prices and the structures of those deals before you've eaten, because you might you might lose your appetite. So I don't think Arsenal are going to agree for Juve to come in and pay 40 million euros for Gabriel Magalhaes across 10 years, across 6 years, across 5 years. I don't think Arsenal are going to allow that. And when you look at what we are trying to build here, we are trying to build a system similar to Manchester City, not to Liverpool actually. I've just seen it. Arsenal are not trying to copy Liverpool. We are trying to copy Manchester City. We are trying to build a team that is 100% dominant with or without our first team players. Because when you look at Manchester City, and their second team, yes, and this is a team that has played huge number of games across a huge number of seasons. When you look at this Arsenal side and what they're trying to do under Mikel is you're having, apart from I think the goalkeeping situation that I'm not really convinced with, but the rest of the areas are areas where you feel when you lose Kieran Tierney, Zinchenko backs him up, no quality lost. When you lose Gabriel Magalhaes, William Saliba can't back him up, no quality lost. When you lose Ben White, Saliba can still back him up, no quality lost. When you lose Granit Xhaka, you have Yuri Tillemans there. There is no quality lost. This is actually an upgrade. When you and actually Tillemans can also be backed up by Zinchenko. When you lose Thomas Partey, probably you have Albert Samuel Lokonga. If he settles in very well, no much quality lost there. If you lose Odegaard, Fabio Vieira is in there, no quality lost. If you lose Martinelli, you have Emile Smith Rowe, no quality lost. If you lose Saka, a new winger is coming in. We hope that he can give us that extra quality. And if you lose Gabriel Jesus, you definitely have Eddie Nketiah. There is a lot of quality lost there. I'm out. I thought I was being smart, but I've been outsmarted by my own theory. Bye bye.